Hello, sixth time is the charm here. This is the sixth time I'm trying to get this right. So what happened was I was playing turn 9 of PanzerBlitz Situation 2. I didn't have the sound turned on. I had issues. Ever since then, I've been trying to get things to go right. So I'm going to try again. I'm recording audio on my OBS and I'm watching the video on my phone. So here's I'm going to give commentary on turn 9 of PanzerBlitz Situation 2. So we start off over here. We're looking at, let me just make sure it's turned on over. Okay, 52 seconds in. So we start off over here and we're looking at the westernmost board. Just a reminder of the situation. Russians have to go from right to left, north to south. The further south they get, the better the victory they get. Here you see three different red arrows. The one on the right is the marginal victory. The one on the medium is a tactical victory. The one on the right is the decisive victory. For the Germans, they have to eliminate Russian units. They have to eliminate 10 units to get a marginal victory, 20 units to get a tactical victory, and 30 of the 32 Russian units to get a decisive victory. I'm going to cough. Thank you. We're on turn 9. It's going to be the Germans' turn, the Germans' fire phase. Over here, what I'm doing is I'm looking for fire opportunities with the Germans. And there aren't any. This is a very, very difficult situation for the Germans. It's a very difficult scenario for the Germans because the Russians have companies of infantry and lots of them. The Germans have the occasional rifle platoon, and that just doesn't add up. There's not enough German infantry to slow down the Russians. So even in the Wargamer's Guide to PanzerBlitz says this is the Germans are hard pressed to even prevent a decisive Russian victory. So over here, but if there are units in the open, they can be overrun. Over here, I took that tank, I overran that infantry right there. As long as the Russians can stay away from the open, they can't be overrun. And that's the biggest attack I think that Germans have, is using those tanks to overrun. So the Russians are in good shape. Over here, this vehicle with this, that was a close combat attack. It dispersed the Russian. I marked the Germans as being dispersed by mistake. I will go back and correct. As you see, I will go back and correct it. Center board. On top of that hill right there, there's an armor unit. Okay, and here we go. Here's the easternmost board, and then we're back to the westernmost board. Germans fire phase. Now I'm doing the Germans move phase on the westernmost board. And I'm looking for opportunities. So my plan is I'm doing the audio, and then I'm going to have to mix together. I'll use Blender or another program to mix together the audio with the video. For some reason, I was having problems doing playback on my computer, recording that into OBS, and also putting the audio over it. So I'm just doing them separately, and I'll combine them in an AV program. So I'm spending a lot of time right now looking at this westernmost board. And there's really nothing that the Germans can do over here. At this point, I think they have 4 units above the tactical victory line. And that's just on this westernmost board. This westernmost board, it's tricky to stop the units because there's very little open terrain in it. It's all woods and it's all hills. There's not a lot of open terrain where the Germans can overrun. Even taken out on top of that hill right there, where you currently see the German mortar, there was a very powerful Russian mortar, and that took 3-4 turns to take out. Very difficult scenario for the Germans. So the only moves I have over here for the Germans is I'm just going to take these because there's nothing I can do over here that's really going to affect the outcome of the game. As you see later, I'm going to bring that half track up and block the road. And that right there is going to prevent, and actually the only unit that could achieve a decisive victory on this particular board has been dispersed. That's the unit that was overran this turn. That unit could have went 1-2 using road movement rate. Next turn 1-2 and it would have had decisive victory. Yep, that unit right there that you see dispersed. Over here I'm just gonna, I think I'm eventually going to block that road with that half track right there. You notice something about the two Russian units. In order to do an overrun, you need to have a unit in clear terrain, and incidentally, streams and gullies are considered clear terrain, which is kind of interesting. But you need to have a unit in clear terrain, and you need to have the hex before and after that, the hex where the unit is located, those two have to be empty of enemy units. And over here, I'm moving this half track. It's moving. It's going to move over there. It's going to dump off the infantry. Later on, I'm going to do a close assault, but that was an illegal close assault anyways. It won't affect the outcome of the game, but you cannot do a close assault if you're a unit that's been transported during your turn, unless it's the optional rule. There's an optional rule in PanzerBlitz called PanzerBlitz, and it allows a tank to carry infantry, drop off the infantry, overrun a unit, and then that dropped off infantry can again attack that overrun unit with close assault. Over here, I'm just moving up a truck to block. And there's not much I can do. At this point, the Russians have a tactical victory pretty much locked up. The Germans would need to destroy another 7 Russian units in order to achieve their tactical victory. And I think that I'm going to move that infantry unit into that woods over there, and it's going to block. So I'm just physically setting up physical blocks to units advancing. That's all I did over there. See, there's 4, maybe 5 units beyond the tactical victory. So the Russians have a tactical victory. Over here, on top of that, there's a hill there. Well, first what the Germans are doing. The Germans are looking to overrun that mortar unit right there. There's 2 mortar units, and if he overruns those 2, I think either it's up to 13 or 15 eliminated Russian units. The problem is that the Russians, they're running out of time. The Germans are running out of time. That's it. I had to think about that. Now I'm just checking my odds. Rolling the dice, and it's going to eliminate. It's going to be 2-to-1 odds. It's going to eliminate those 2 mortar units there. Those mortar units were kind of pesky because they took out the Germans in this board have an excellent mortar. I think they have a 15 attack factor mortar, and those 2 mortar units took it out. And I'm just going to remove them. Yeah, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's 13 units I've eliminated at this point. I would have to eliminate 7 total units to get that tactical level, and that's where the Russians are at. Now, on top of that hill right there, there's under that infantry on top of that hill, there's a Russian armor unit. And if I was smart, I might have taken that unit this turn and just drive south, and I could be almost at the decisive victory location. Matter of fact, if I put that armor unit in that woods right there, it prevents it from being overrun. It'd be hard for the Germans at this point don't even have a shot to fire at it. And then I just cross the decisive victory. Like the PanzerBlitz, Wargamer's Guide to PanzerBlitz says, it's very difficult. The Germans are hard-pressed even to prevent the Russians from getting a decisive victory here. And here I'm spreading out Russian units, looking to oh no, we're still in the German phase. I think I'm just going to overrun with this vehicle right here. Yep, there's the overrun. That's 1-to-1. And I think I dispersed that infantry unit, but that's not going to do anything at all. We're on the next to the last turn. I think if I had rolled a 1 there, what I need? I needed a... I rolled a 6, and I needed a 1, 2, or 3 to eliminate that unit. And that would have been what? 15, 16 units eliminated? Yeah, it'd be close, actually. Now, the smart thing is the Germans is for me to block the path of that armor unit down the hill. So I should have taken one of those infantry units, put it on a slope right there, but instead I kept the infantry unit and the half-track together. One of the infantry unit should have been in one hex. The armor unit should have been, the half-track should have been in another hex. I should have brought this truck up to block the third, another side of that. Because I don't want that truck, that Russian vehicle, the Russian armor to do a dash for the decisive victory line. And the way I have it set up right now, by not blocking that, the Russian units, that Russian unit has a chance to do a decisive victory. Oh, excuse me. See, in between that truck and that infantry unit, there's a path. And I could block that path by putting one of the 2 units there, but I didn't. So now we go on. This is the easternmost board. The German made a mistake in this board, in that early they went into the town, and there was a Russian recon unit there, along with the Russian engineer unit there, and they tied up the Germans for 3 or 4 turns until I brought some German infantry, and the German infantry were able to help out the armor units and get them out of Hawk. So there's the Germans overrunning that Russian infantry, that Russian recon unit, and was a Russian engineer unit there. So you're looking at 2-to-1 attack, -2. I gotta roll a dice. And I got 4, 2-to-1 -2, so it's going to be 2-to-1. Roll the 2, double D, dispersal. So I needed a 1, 2, or 3 to eliminate those 2. With a little bit of luck, I think that the Germans could have gotten a tactical victory, maybe in getting a tie here. But all right, so now I turn my attention to the top of hill 129. The top of the hill 129, you see 3 guards companies against 1 little rifle platoon. There's not much that rifle platoon can do. It's going to be eliminated in close combat. And all those Russian guard units have to do is move forward a hex, and then the next turn move forward another hex, and they have the tactical victory on this board too. And this board right here, Okay, I'm looking to see if I can do any more overruns. I mean, close assaults, and I could have actually did a close assault on that recon unit. I don't think I did though. I think I missed that one. Yeah, right there. Oh, I guess I did do it. So it's going to be 1 to 2 against infantry. Nah, it's dispersed. That half track, because that's infantry, could have been involved in the close assault, and that could have shifted the odds a bit. Well, it still would have been 5 to, it would have been 1 to 1. I'm not even sure that would have made a difference. Over here, I'm doing the close assault, which unfortunately is illegal because you can't be transported and then do a close assault tactic. Unless you're using the PanzerBlitz optional rule. I'm not going to use optional rules or experimental rules in my playthrough of these scenarios. I'm going to be playing through these scenarios 1 turn a day, hopefully, until I complete all the PanzerBlitz, Panzer Leaders, and Arab-Israeli war scenarios. It's going to take a while. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to be here. I don't always post my games or the turns I do every time on the boards, just because I don't want to do like on the PanzerBlitz, Panzer Leader, Arab Israeli Wars Facebook group. I don't want to post one video every day. I don't want to, you know. I could if you really wanted me to, I could. And over here, it's the Russians' turn. So I had that infantry gun fire, that Russian gun right there fire. This is the point where Sherman went down the hill, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and he should have made a dash for the decisive victory line. Because at this point, the German units are not in a situation. Well, they do have one shot at it. I don't even think they would have had even a shot at it. I think the proper move would have been to run for that decisive victory line. So where could he have gotten? He could have gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, he could have gotten to a position where the Germans wouldn't have even had shot at him. Or he could have been at the decisive victory line right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. And see, what good did that do? I took out a truck. I used that heavy artillery over there, that self-propelled gun, to take out a truck. That made no sense. Marked it fired. Might have also fired with the infantry too there. It's a waste. And here's the Russians. Now the Russians are just gonna, the Russians at this point are gonna close assault both my armored platoons, and the Russians are going to disperse them on this board. So I'm not even going to have on board, on the westernmost board, I'm not going to have, German player, it's not going to have any armor available for the final turn. Which, even if there was a nail on the coffin, if there wasn't already a nail on the coffin, that's a double nail on the coffin. And we're at about 20 minutes right now. I'm going to try to keep my videos down to between 15 and 30 minutes. Between. So it's a Russian's turn. I'm just looking at different close assaults I can do over here. I'm looking. So that mortar took a pot shot at somebody. I'm not even sure who it did. I think it took maybe that unit in the woods there, that infantry unit in the woods that did the close assault. So I'm going to the westernmost board right now. And the guard units are moving forward. And they're about to do something very nasty to that platoon right there. CL6, that's the all next turn. The Germans, Russians can go over there, and that's yet another board they would have a tactical victory on if they didn't already have on the other boards. So I don't think there's anything else the Russians are going to do in this turn on this board. I think the other units on this board are all dispersed. Center board, there's that one Russian unit right there. I think it may I just may move it forward. If that. So maybe I did disperse that self-propelled gun over there. The Russian self-propelled gun when we did a close assault earlier. I don't think I did, but maybe I did. Now I'm looking at the situation in the west. The Russians are going forward. And another Russian is going to go into position to that Russian infantry on X-135 is going to go down a slope to close assault that vehicle. And there are two more Russian units sneaking up in the west. Notice I'm setting up line, everything is line abreast. This Russian unit, there you go. Then I'm going to do the close assaults, and that is going to disperse those German armor units. So for close assault, stream bed hexes are considered clear terrain. And that would even be clear terrain. It doesn't even have a gully in it because it's at the end of it's the very last hex with a gully in it. And I'm just looking up the gullies and stream bed rules here. This is the 6th time I've talked through this, so I know what's going on now. I didn't want to give up. I want to do this, and I finally found a way to do it. Now it's just a matter of doing the close assaults here. And I'm looking at 1-3, and I got a dispersal with the 1-3. And the other hex is going to be 5 to 8. It's 1 to 2, and I'm going to get a dispersal with that. And is this Russian unit going to disperse that half track when it does the close assault? I don't know. Let's see. Roll the dice, turners. Come on. Yep, it did. It did disperse it. So the Germans don't even have a moving vehicle, an armored vehicle there. They don't have the half track. I think they have one half track near that woods with the dispersed howitzer, but yeah. And that right there is a 1 to 2 close assault. 1 to 2 minus 1. That Russian infantry company against the German rifle platoon. And over here, last but not least, these two guard units are going to do a massive close assault. It was going to be 3 companies. It's going to be a 9 to 1 odds. 3 companies of infantry against 1 elite infantry against 1 ordinary rifle unit. 9 to 1, plus the fact that it's close assault, plus the fact that the attacking units are elite, they're guards, so they have a little bit higher quality. And I remove that unit. Da-da. Okay, that's the only thing of significance here that went on. The rest is just cleaning up the markers for turn 10. I finally did it. This is the 6th time. I hope this recorded properly. Now all I have to do is take the two files, the audio file and the video file, and merge them. And then upload it to YouTube, and turn 9 is finally done. Then I'll go on to turn 10 next. But that's it. So, thank you for your patience with me. Have a good day. If you didn't already, please like and subscribe. I like saying that, but if you hit likes, it does mean a lot. It really does. And I appreciate if you watch it. You just press that like button because it's important. I see people watch and they don't press it. And I'm like wondering, why didn't you not press the like button? Don't you like my stuff? But I know why, because it just gets annoying. Press the like button. We need your help. Press the like button. Anyways, I'll stop rambling. I want you to have a good day, all right? Bye.